Hello, hello, everybody. We have a trailer, Joel. We have a trailer.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. This is the day we've been waiting
I
for,
need,
and it delivered.
I need to warn everybody. It's the day we've been waiting for. We weren't going to miss doing this video, but clearly I'm not home. I am in Park City at Sundance, staying at an Airbnb. So my internet situation and clearly my lighting and my framing and everything situation is questionable. So just in case there are any awkward blips in this episode or whatever, blame it on a really cool time in Park City because I'm really excited to be here.
Perri, it was such good timing. As you said that, you did freeze a second, which is amazing. So that wasn't a bit. That actually happened.
Oh, did I freeze?
As you said, there might be some blips. It is like you froze.
I can't wait to rewatch this back. All right. Before this whole recording gets swallowed up by my poor Wi-Fi/hotspot connection, Joel, do you wanna kick us off? You made a list, and we can basically go scene by scene here.
Yes. So I'm appropriately enough not in Park City. I'm in New York City. I'm wearing this for solidarity with Perri, who's cold right now, but I'm very jealous of where you are. So I just think the trailer landed. I think it's, owning the internet, breaking the internet now. Very exciting stuff. We've got a list, and we don't have much time because we have bandwidth issues. So I think we got to talk bodegas, right? I think this is going to be such a significant set piece in the movie, and they teased it in photos, and then they opened the trailer with this bodega sequence. And I think the real takeaway here that I got from this is looks amazing, love public Ghostface, who just doesn't give a fuck, but also like this is a new, like the trailer and the marketing is pushing this new kind of Ghostface, new rules, but I think they're like establishing that in this little sequence they've shown us.
I was just taking a minute because I was rewatching it as you were explaining it, and I just want to I keep looking for Easter eggs. Like I was just looking at the magazines. I can't really read the specifics, so clearly I found nothing. But man, this sequence is vicious. It's vicious and it's scary, and I'm glad that they included something that incorporated New York City crowds, that had an attack happen in public, in everybody's eye line, basically. And it starts to get that feel going. I'm curious to see if they go bigger than this, though, because we get this bodega scene, and then everything else that we see, minus the subway scene at least, feels more contained. So I'm just curious how much they are actually going to go outside, not just in public, but with the widest possible New York City type audience.
I do like that. They could be at the Rockefeller Christmas tree, which is the most crowded of all New York landmarks.
It's
or
not
Central
up
Park.
During Halloween.
That is true. That is true. It comes just up. Mariah season comes November 1, right?
Wait, can I just say one more thing really quick because I just saw it again? That scene where the shotgun goes off and Ghostface is there and then he's not. That's great.
Yes. I mean, the thing that stood out to me about the sequence, aside from it looks fun and oh my god, that guy's such a New Yorker. Of course, that's what you do if Ghostface walked in. But well, I wouldn't. I'd be like, bye. But is what you said about the viciousness. I don't know that we've seen this level of viciousness before. Just like the straight gunshot done, no teasing. And also, trailers show a lot of blood these days. I was just like, this is a pretty violent trailer. And that's a violent moment to open with.
Well, when Ghostface kills the bodega clerk, I mean, that's a significant amount of blood that you could see in this trailer. And is this trailer rated? I don't know.
I couldn't. That's what I was trying to find out. Someone in the comments will let us know. But yeah, vicious, amazing. I think they've already said this is going to be brutal and body count is going to be high. No doubt. Bystanders, collateral damage, very, very tough. I will say
I'm feeling it quite a bit now.
my local bodega does not have that much space.
I'm pretty sure I cut out and I missed some of what you just said, but this does make me miss New York City bodegas. I will also point out the difference in the mask and how incredibly effective it is in the entire trailer when it pops up in this particular scene. And I think that enhances the viciousness of, like, the Ghostface mask has always been scary, but we're used to the same thing. We're used to that cleaner, store-bought look. And when you see it looking like this, it just adds a little something extra that makes it more unsettling. And I like that.
I absolutely agree. And I think it's almost a necessity in moving the franchise to New York and having people around and the busyness to change it up and make it a little bit, because I think it could read as a bit hokey if it was that sort of traditional, clean, fresh out the plastic bag that we've had with Ghostface masks in the past. I'm also glad they didn't push it too far. Like I'm glad it feels worn, it feels lived in. I'm sure there's story there,
Yeah.
but it doesn't. It's not sort of, it's not going to some of the things they've done with the Michael mask in the past. Like it feels just that this side of could have taken it too far.
Well, that's the next big question with this mask, is the story behind it. And given, we'll maybe save this for later in the discussion, but given what we see later on in this trailer, I feel pretty certain in saying this is probably a previously used Ghostface mask by one of the actual killers that was recovered.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of that in this trailer. And I know that are we doing this in order of the trailer? Or are we going to jump to Shrine and what the motivation might be?
We could keep going in order, because you made a nice list.
I did make a nice list. And if you make a list, you stick to it, right? So,
also, sorry if my computer's wobbly. It's literally balancing on a gigantic tower of towels right now.
We love makeshift Perri.
I'll always make it work somehow. For Scream, I always make it work.
We had to do it. Like, it came with a bad timing, but we had to do it.
Yeah. So we're up to the next thing on your list. That's Kirby.
Well, I had the there's a moment after that, I think, bodega sequence where Sam is talking, and she says there's a darkness inside her, and I forget the exact line, but it's followed her here. And I think the thing that stood out to me about that was that I think they're going to be definitely continuing the Billy inside me idea. I don't know if he'll manifest. I don't think he will, to be honest. I think that would be a smarter choice to leave that behind. But I think the darkness that was explored and then so expertly sort of they gave us a moment of catharsis with the stabbing at the end of Scream 2022 is clearly thematically, I think, going to be a thing with Sam moving into this movie.
So I do agree with you in terms of Billy not manifesting again, but I do think they need to keep exploring. Clearly, they are going to continue exploring that darkness within her, but they can't do it in a traditional, dramatic dialogue and story-driven way. I feel like there does have to be some sort of visual component, and I'm not talking specifically about Billy appearing, but there has to be something to bridge the gap between her actually being able to see Billy Loomis and her having this discussion about darkness with a therapist. It just feels like there's a really wide gap there that they can't jump from one to the other. There has to be some sort of visually creative middle ground there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it could be, but I do agree that
I don't either. That's why I'm not a filmmaker.
Yeah, so we'll see what they come up with. Yeah.
Okay, so she's in there talking about the darkness. So the shot that we get after that is her holding what looks like that older Ghostface mask, but it's also got blood on it. And it was just making me think, I wonder if this is actually a shot from the very end of the movie. Like, she survives and now she's kind of holding the dead killer's mask, and I don't know, thinking about what the future holds for her.
Set up for Scream 7.
Yeah, really.
Yes, no, I think, and that's the thing to know about these films, right? I mean, these trailers, is that so much is pulled from so different. They're masters of misdirection.
There is so much cut up dialogue where you can hear them stringing together one sentence out of what sounds like 3 different pieces.
And I think they're going to be, I will say what's interesting as an overall impression of this trailer to me is that I felt this trailer on the surface reveals much more about potential story, about sequences than, say, the original trailer for Scream 2022 did, although it did sort of give you the opening sequence. But aside from that, I don't trust that. So I also think it's layered with misdirection because, as you know, people like us went so deep in that trailer and did pick up things.
Yes.
I think they would be very conscious of that and avoiding that.
They are. Every single time I watch a trailer for a movie like Scream in particular, I'm always like, if I come up with an idea now, it's likely wrong because they're smarter than me when it comes to filmmaking, and I'm probably not able to piece things together at this point.
That is true.
But it's still fun to theorize.
It is. It is. So she's got the mask, and then it's. Do we move into the sequence where Kirby is back?
We're close. We get one shot of a new cast member, Liana Liberato, who I really like. I think she's great, and I'm excited to see her in this. We see, you know, more of the cast in what looks like a dorm room space, Ghostface at the door of wherever they are likely, and then at 101 we get the Kirby shot. And you know, I feel like a little obnoxious jumping on this bandwagon, but I have to point out that I don't like her hair. It's distracting. I find it distracting.
Yeah, I haven't found it as bad as others have. And I'm hoping that I will settle into the performance and the film and the visual, and it will no longer be distracting.
I wonder if I'm just hyper aware of it because of how much people are talking about it. Like, obviously, I can't really go back and re-experience it, but it's like if people didn't bring it up, would I really have noticed that much? I don't know, but I guess it is kind of noticeable.
And I think it's particularly noticeable because the last we saw this character, you know, it was a very different hairstyle.
Yeah, and it was like a very iconic hairstyle too. It was unforgettable.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think, you know, as I was saying to you offline, if we can have another character in Scream that draws some hair attention and discussion, I'm about it. I love this kind of thing. You know, if in 20 years we're still talking about this hair like we're talking about the Gale fringe, I won't be back.
I guess that is something. So what are you thinking about Kirby's involvement? Like right now, it does feel like we were pretty spot on in what we had been discussing before in terms of her coming back in sort of like an expert, I've experienced this before role.
Yeah, I believe the line is, we've all had a history with this, or we've all had some experience with this, or something.
Yeah,
right?
It's something to that effect.
There's a way we can confirm this, right? But it's something to that effect, and so it does play this. I
literally have it right here. I will just play it and make it real. I have this secret. Oh, I'm back in the Sam scene. There's a darkness inside of me. It followed me here. We did that already. It's going. Come on.
Come on, Kirby.
We share certain history. We share certain history,
yeah. So it does look to me like in the same way that the team went to Dewey in the first movie, they perhaps looking for guidance here. And Kirby might be fulfilling that role. We don't get a lot of Kirby, I would say, in this trailer. I wonder about how much Kirby we are going to get in general in the film. You know, is it going to be a glorified cameo, or is she going to be integral?
I think she's going to be important because aren't they all together in that shrine scene?
Well, yes. When we get to it, we'll see.
I do feel like everyone who's in that space will have a significant role.
Yes. I wonder, I'm very curious about that space. Is that, I mean, what else to say about Kirby?
Okay.
She's back. People are excited.
Right after the Kirby shot, we get another really like gnarly look at Ghostface just bringing the knife down, and it's like just the way he's lit, like in addition to the mask and the knife and everything, just the way he's like framed from the bottom up, and the way that he's lit too. I'm calling him a he already. Whoever that individual is, they're lit. It just makes them especially intimidating and I mean truly scary looking.
Yeah, I will say there's not a lot of humor in this trailer.
No. I'm curious if that winds up getting added to the actual movie, because it, like, based on what we're seeing from this 2-minute 20+ second trailer, it's not feeling like the overall tone is going to be able to support that. But then again, every single Scream movie has had comedy, so I'm sure they'll find ways to include that sharp wit somewhere. But it's not.
And I had a bit of deja vu because I think I said the same thing about the trailer for the original, for the 2022 version. And they brought the funny. They
Well,
brought the funny.
they did, and that Tara opening is pretty damn mean,
Yes.
and vicious.
Radio
The
Silence has a
next
vicious streak.
the next big shot that we get, which I just really like, is the graffiti art of Ghostface
Yes.
on a brick wall that says, "What's your favorite scary movie?" And then we get to the group going through that cage door. I'm assuming it's an elevator, and into the shrine space, and we get Tara, Kirby, Sam, Chad, Mindy, Gail, and also Dermot Mulroney's character. So I'm
Yes.
assuming that's our core seven, and anybody else in the ensemble might be, at risk to not make it through Scream 6.
Yeah, well, it depends where in the line that particular sequence comes, right? Yes, the shrine thing is interesting. I did love a little detail that I saw on Twitter where someone sort of noted that the sliding of the card to get into that elevator situation, into the shrine space that Gail does, feels like a throwback to when her and Jennifer Jolie in Scream 3 are doing a whole, like, we're going to swipe the card to go into this
Yeah.
production facility. So they called it a throwback. I'm going to say sure. We'll wait and see it in the film. The shrine space is really interesting, and that noting that collection of characters is really interesting. I'm very curious. Is this a museum space? Is this an underground cinema sort of stab situation? I don't know. I feel as though this is not a killer's lair at all. Would be my read of the situation. This is a pop culture event to me. This is like a museum stab related was my
I
read.
mean, you're I feel like you're probably right, but I think later, I mean, I guess the actual killer in this movie could be lurking in the area, even if this was a facility put together by, let's say, Ghostface fans and not the killer themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I mean, it's also like these things, like you see Billy's shirt, you see Tatum's costume.
Oh, you see a lot of stuff. You see the masks. You see the masks from Scream 2. You see Steve in the chair from the first film. There's a stab slate. There's
yes, that's what I think. That's why I think it's. I think it's a. I think it's the studio, or I think it's. You're in Sundance. I think it's an activation, Perri. I think.
Oh God, I don't think it's an activation. I think it's probably like it's probably a cult of Ghostface type things, like hyper fans who have collected all of this stuff over the years and have built some sort of like top secret shrine to him.
I still think it's all stab related. I think it's all. I think it's got to be all costumes and stuff. No, I mean
yeah.
Right?
No, that is what I
actually raided the evidence bins. But
that is what I assume. And I wouldn't be surprised if we hit a point where like this particular group of super fans maybe who put all of this together wind up, like face to face with the real Ghostface in a sense where they have all the replica masks that are like that clean white look, and then it's face to face with someone who has like a legitimate past use mask that has that gray or cracked version.
Yes, and potentially whoever is involved in this sort of fan club starts off suspicious, but ultimately very useful and helpful to the heroes, potentially.
Well, here's a question. Could one of our newer characters be affiliated with this space? That's probably something worth considering.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who the suspects are. Well, I mean,
I think we might need to get to the next shot. I don't think he is, but I think we might need to get to the next
detective,
shot.
Right?
So the next shot after the shrine stuff, it's Tara, Mindy, Chad, Sam, and then two new characters, Jack Champion's character, and then who's the actor you really like? His name is escaping me right now.
Josh Segarra, I believe.
Yes.
Yes. Who's in She-Hulk and the other two.
It's them together, and I feel like I am willing to bet that, I don't know, maybe Jack Champion's character is a Stab super fan and had some sort of involvement in collecting all these props and stuff.
Very possible. It's kind of like an expanded version of your room, Perri. Not the room you're currently in, but your usual room.
Oh, all right. Where am I now? I went ahead. I wasn't done with looking at the shrine stuff. I was hoping that the shrine would give away some answers, just in terms of like the first time I watched it through, I'm like, I'm gonna go back and I bet you one of the Ghostface costumes has a missing mask, and then we could figure out who that mask belongs to. That's actually not the case. None of them are wearing masks on that stage.
Yes. So then do we move into the, I mean, I'm sure there's some other smaller shots, but do we move into the Gale, what I think is the talking point of this trailer?
Yeah. After we get past that shot with, yeah, I mean, it, like, yet again though, it's another like really violent, malicious feeling scene here, and that shot of like, who is in the background?
Who gets taken by Ghostface in the background?
Because like Dermot Mulroney is the only person I could think that would like possibly look like that. So does that mean he doesn't make it through? I was
thinking him or Josh Segarra.
Maybe, or this could, or
I can see Gale
maybe
going cougar. I can see Gale. She's in her grieving period. She can go for a younger man. I think, this feels like they're hanging. I don't know. I'm reading a lot of my own fan fiction here about how Gale's coping with Dewey.
You know what crossed my mind? Maybe this is the opening of the movie. But she survives, and whoever she's with dies. But to backtrack a little,
I have my theories on the opening.
Okay, I want to hear that in a minute. I feel like this could, now I'm knocking everything over, this could maybe have opening vibes, but it would go against the idea that I think that some of the story structure in this is going to mirror Scream 2, and I think that the opening sequence in this is going to have some sort of, structural connection or a similar vibe or tone as the opening kills in Scream 2.
I agree. So I think I don't think this is the opening, because she clearly survives. Well, if it is the opening, positionally in the story, she survives.
Oh, and we know based on the last film that they don't feel the need to kill someone in the opening.
No, but I also feel like, can you do that twice in a row, or do you need to give the fans the red meat they need?
Or maybe they know we're thinking. Maybe they know we're thinking that, and so they want to surprise us by doing it again.
Oh my god!
But
then there's the idea that like she shows no signs of having been battered around or whatever in the other scenes that we've seen, or not that we can actually visibly see.
Yeah.
And then my theory in the opening scene is that I think they're not showing us in the way that they gave away basically the opening scene of the first one in the trailer. I think they're keeping this one under wraps, and I think the word to look for is Samara.
No,
2 words to look for are Samara and Weaving.
I want her to be in the whole movie, but I think you're right, because I think later on we get one shot of her in an alleyway, and I also wouldn't be surprised if that were the opening.
That's what I was thinking. So we've seen that one shot of her alleyway. To me, she looks well dressed and covered in a shawl, I believe. Maybe on the way back from a Broadway show or something that did film in town.
Or maybe she's just left a movie theater.
Or a movie theater. And I think Samara Weaving for Radio Silence and her level of celebrity a little bit puts her in the opening sequence slot for me.
And you know what I think they're maybe doing, because I'm just looking it up really quick. I was looking at the poster for the movie.
She's in that poster, right?
She's pretty big in that poster. Like her positioning in this poster, I'm looking at Chad Villella's Instagram right now, but like her positioning in that poster does say, I'm a more important character than some of the others. So I don't know. I saw that and immediately my first reaction was like, yes, she's bigger. She's in more of the movie. But then I also know what they like to do, and they could just be tricking me. Also, this is a great new poster for me to Photoshop myself into and confuse a whole lot of people again.
Absolutely. I love this poster. I'm like, it's so bad. No, it's not bad. It's so like 90s, I would say.
Yeah, but I think they're
It's such an homage.
they're establishing a certain look, and I dig it, and I dig the colors too. We also haven't even spoken about Tony Revolori, who I'm very excited that is in this movie.
Love a few shots of him. I will say a couple of things about the Gale thing. Obviously, there's going to be iconic lines. We love. Is her first call? Do we consider the sort of outdoor call in Scream 2 a Gale call?
Wait. What are you, I think you broke up a little. What are you referring to?
Oh, so people are referencing this as the first Ghostface call to Gale, right? But Scream 2 does have.
It was her cell phone.
Or on the phone. It was her cell phone in Scream 2, right?
Yeah. I believe so. Oh, that's a fun trivia question.
I have to go back and watch it because a lot of people, including myself, made this on Twitter that this is the first like Gale alone call sort of thing, and we don't.
Oh, well. I think it would definitely be the
that.
first.
Is it the first call?
I feel fairly. I mean, maybe I'm just thinking about the first movie and how they have the giant cellular, and now I'm attributing this particular phone to her. But I feel like that was her phone.
I think so. I'm sure you'll all let us know in the comments.
Like she passes it to Randy when her and Dewey go around to look at who might be on the other end of the call.
Yes.
I think.
Yes. But I'm just trying to remember whose phone. Although of those people, I think Gale's the one who would have a cell phone in 1997.
It would make sense.
The other thing that stands out to me about this sequence with Gale is her apartment. Love it. Beautiful.
It is really nice. And it makes for a really nice shot when Ghostface just like flies at her.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm like, this Ghostface is just direct. He just goes straight down. He ain't going around a couch. He's like, yeah, this is like he's going after
super violent. Like there's a whole bunch of like hiding and stalky and creepy background kind of vibes, but really this is like a Ghostface that lashes out very intensely and violently.
And this sequence looks killer. I'm so excited by this sequence.
We're seeing like a lot of really cool action, scare, potential kill sequences here.
Absolutely.
All right, so she's shooting at the door. I'm almost out of the scene. He pops in. Then we get the shot of the projector with the Ghostface on the wall.
Yes, which appears to be in the shrine space. Well, I don't know. It may not be, but it does feel like it is.
That would be my best educated guess. This next shot is interesting. So I think this next shot, it's Tara in the foreground facing the camera, Sam facing away with a ghost face on that she's looking at. Why would they be back to back if not for having more than one ghost face in that room? And something about this like positioning is making me feel like there's not just like one in front of Sam and one in front of Tara, but they could maybe be surrounded, and maybe that could speak to the idea of the cult of there not just being a cult of stab bands, but an actual like cult, a group of ghost face, like legitimate killers.
I mean, yes, that is what I've seen.
I also just could be reading into the shot way too much. And
no. I think I've seen online. There's definitely a vibe where certain people have been saying this is going to be like equal. And I think within the context of a place like New York, yes, there's different, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's detective. I think this might be the moment where I'm going to keep harking back to it, but I knew that Amber was the killer from the first trailer. But you identified the moment that this is a group, a minimum trio.
Minimum trio. I'll get behind that. From there we get to the ladder scene, which just
love.
This is a good New York scare scene.
Absolutely.
I've never actually considered like launching myself from one building window to another, but there's something about that makes any New Yorker or anyone who's lived in a big city with high rises like that be like, well, what if I had to jump to that window? What if I had to crawl on a ladder? And it gives me chills, creeps me out.
It gives me chills. It also gives me sort of vibes of some of my favorite sequences from 1, 2, and 3. Being the, when Ghostface is out and they have to do something to get around him or whatever it is. So you've got obviously in 2 the scene in the car when they have to get out of the window and Ghostface is sort of knocked out. And in 3 on the staircase where Gale needs to get past him. And this, I just see this a sequence where Ghostface is knocked out in that room that they're leaving, and they're trying to get across in time before he wakes up. They wake up,
and the poor last person left is going to die. Is going to die. Which also, and this one also, like, I think your references there are spot on, and it also reminds me of the Scream 4 kill with Olivia, where you're separated by space from window to window, and you see it happen, and there's nothing you can do about it.
No, and I think it's also going to give me some good CC vibes, because I see a good screaming fall. I see a good screaming fall happening.
That could be a good homage.
Shot from multiple angles.
All right. So after that, we are in the theater, and they have, it looks like the bodega scene being projected on a sheet, and then Sam's holding the gun, and her arm is incredibly bloody, very bloody.
Is this...
like it legit looks like she just plunged her arm like through a human body.
Yeah, it could be what happened. We don't know. She might have. This might be a Saw situation. He needed to retrieve a key.
She's got creepy Billy face on too. If you look at the first close up in that portion of hers, that is a strong expression there.
We love it. I'm just trying to pull up the moment myself. I think there's also a section right here, right, where we get, this is just before. So we got the bloody arm. She's got that Billy expression. Then we get the Ghostface stabbing the desk, right?
Ghostface stabbing the desk.
Oh, this is after.
It's after the Sam thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Because I think this is the room that they crawled out of via the ladder.
That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, that's obvious. The ladder's like right there on the desk.
Yeah. And they're running, there's a bathtub with some victim in it.
And also that blood is definitely that poor last character left in that room.
Right. But what if this is a Sleep No More situation?
A what?
A Sleep No More situation. What if this is live immersive theater? We don't know.
I mean, that's
Sleep No More. No New
That's
York.
a great setting for a slasher movie. This tunnel that they're being chased through is probably some sort of like backstage passageway in that underground, or I'm saying underground, but that like hidden theater, the Ghostface Shrine, as we will call it. And then it gets,
because that shrine does feel like in a not Broadway. I think there's something about theater here, I think, going on. And that would be a nice homage to Scream 2 as well. Like, I feel like there's, even though they come up in the caged elevator, I wonder if this is like a prop storage sort of space or something where the shrine is. I think there's a lot of shots in here that do give me backstage sort of Broadway theater tightness, which I think is interesting. And I do wonder about, that Scream 2 sort of, I'm a fighter.
Sorry if I just made people nauseous. I just noticed my towel tower was dipping a little. After that, we get a big scene.
This is the shot of Tara?
Yeah.
And the hands and the slipping of that bloody hands.
She's also got like
a weird evil expression.
An evil look on her face. An evil look on her face.
I think could be read as evil or resigned to her fate.
I don't have the sound playing, so that might be influence. I mean, it's interesting to, watch the trailer with no sound and interpret performances that way.
Because I would bet my hat that Jenna Ortega is not going to be in Scream 7. And I think this is both. This is externalities of sort of factoring in here.
I don't like that you're probably right. I don't like it.
I mean, here's the reality. If they can't afford Neve Campbell, they're not going to be able to afford Jenna Ortega for the next
Especially
now with Wednesday.
Since Scream 2022 came out. I get it. I get it.
Like, Jenna Ortega is the hottest young actress potentially on the planet right now, right? Imagine what her contract would be to come on.
Yeah.
Unless we don't know what she signed for number
yeah,
one, right?
unless they pre-negotiated a trilogy or something, then that's different. But
that's different. But
I
like,
get where that thought's coming from.
It's very hard for me to imagine that she is suddenly being cast. And one imagines the next 6 months of Jenna Ortega's life are going to be like, she's cast in some of the biggest films. You know,
Yeah.
she's going to be in the MCU, or I mean, not saying that's happening, but like that's the kind of trajectory we expect. Do we then have that actress? And no insult to anyone who's in this movie. People have a passion for these films and return to them, etc. But is she going to be returning for Scream 7? I don't know. I hope so.
I mean, here's a story trajectory prediction for you. If she does indeed have to die, maybe that'll be a little bit of a Sam twist for us, where we see her fighting the darkness through Scream 5 and maybe Scream 6, and losing her sister pushes her back the other way, and she succumbs to her inner Billy in Scream 7, and maybe that's why all things lead to her on that subway poster.
I think so too. I also think that,
like, actually that makes a little bit of sense. Like, the accumulation of all the killers and all the deaths throughout the franchise have landed them in a place where they're being attacked, and all of that took her sister's life, and then ultimately probably her own in Scream 7.
Very possible. I also think that Scream 7 potentially needs to make room for the return of Sidney Prescott, if they can get that, talking of externalities to the story. But
yes, they do.
And I don't know that a film in the way that Scream 2022 could. I don't know if Scream 7 can really handle the weight of Jenna Ortega. I'm sorry, I'll say Jenna Ortega because it is really the actress now that's occupying the space, I think, in terms of what I'm thinking. Another central character in Samantha, another central character in Sydney, and that's a lot to center a film.
It is something worth considering right now.
And this moment, that's why in the trailer I was like, this moment makes me go, oh, shit.
Yes. All right. That holy shit moment leads to, we get our Tony Revolori shot. He is clearly our cinephile. So I wonder if he'll have some sort of connection with Jasmine Savoy Brown in this, because they seem like they could be on the same page.
I mean, there's definitely among these blurry shots of all these things happening in the next bit of sequence, I think this is where I'm getting my theater vibes as well.
Your what vibes?
This is in a theater. So in the seconds before they return to the subway, there's definitely someone who appears to be falling from a balcony of what looks like a fish.
It looks like Sam. Have you jumped ahead?
Sorry, did I jump ahead?
I think you did. But I know what you're talking about.
Perri said we were going to keep this short, so I was trying to move things along.
Just quickly, after Tony Revolori, we get our one shot of Samara Weaving that does have opening kill feels to me. Then we get Dermot Mulroney standing in the middle of all of the Ghostface costumes in the shrine area. And this, to me, feels like it could be the location of the third act, suggesting that maybe he makes it through most of the movie. I don't know.
Look, I'm thinking, I agree. Well, I mean, he's the detective, and they usually do, right? And let's face it, probably the killer.
No, he does not have killer vibes. That body language. I was so wrong about Amber, but that I'll say it again, and I'll probably be wrong. That body language is not killer body language.
No, okay, that's fair. He's giving me Dempsey. But I think the other thing we're seeing is like the knife across a rail, which to me looks like, above the theatrical sort of scaffolding.
Yeah, that one was before the Tara dangly potential fall.
Then the Samantha potential fall.
Which is interesting, because first we see Tara dangling off the edge of the balcony, but then later on, after we went through all those shots that I just mentioned, and also Chad fighting Ghostface as well, it's very clearly Sam being hurled off the balcony.
Yes. Look.
And then it goes into the subway stuff from there,
which we've discussed. I think
which still looks really good.
So good. My main impression of this is I'm fucking hyped. I'm so excited. This is the Scream movie I dreamed of. And I think goodbye Tara is what I would say.
Don't say it, but I get it. It makes sense. Oh man. I can't they're crushing it. I just like I'll wrap this up by just giving like round of applause to everybody working on the Scream 6 marketing campaign because
Yes.
I don't know, these really do feel like the perfect trailers that provide a tease, something to chew on, don't give away too much, really convey the sense of like terror and atmosphere that this movie can have. And then also those poster designs are just absolutely beautiful. I'm just so impressed by
Yes.
this.
I'm so happy, and to all the haters, Ghostface can use a gun. It's okay. It's allowed. It looks like he's using a knife a lot. So if he has a little one, he grabs a gun off someone in a bodega.
Why
Why
are people mad about the gun situation?
I've seen on Twitter's.
Billy and Stu emphasize the importance of having a gun in Scream 1 even.
Absolutely, it's canon. Not that, I mean, Ghostface doesn't use a gun frequently in terms of when he's in costume. They're in costume.
A gun is also well, yeah, but like a gun is also like a major element in the big third act fight in Scream 2 as well.
Yeah, 100%. But there has been some chatter among some fans like, oh, I don't like the gun.
Jill uses a gun in Scream 4.
Yeah, I mean the guns always come out once the mask is off, right?
I guess.
But I think it's terrifying. I think again it shows another level of brutality, and the fact that it's not just a pistol; it's this like terrifying looking shotgun. I'm like
again vicious. I feel like I'm going to keep using that word all throughout the promotional campaign, probably through to the film when we actually discuss it. But this is some like gnarly looking stuff, like really really scary, brutal material.
Samara Weaving, Jenna Ortega.
Yeah.
R.I.P. It was nice to know you.
I am willing to place those bets, and I'll also probably kill off at least 3 of the newcomers.
Oh, minimum. That looks like there's so many of them. Have you seen that poster?
You can't kill everybody. There's so many that I just just want to see more from them ultimately in the franchise.
That's true.
But I can't have everyone I want.
If they're killing Tara, they're not. I don't think they're killing any of the Meeks Mills twins. Or
I hope not. I really don't. I really don't want them. I don't want them to die. I'm going to pronounce her name wrong. Devin Nakota. I'm betting she's gonna go. I'll bet Liana Liberato's character is gonna go. Probably Jack Champion as well. And maybe I don't know why I'm even arbitrarily saying this, but maybe they'll choose between keeping Tony Revolori or Josh Segarra.
I want them both.
Dermot Mulroney's gonna go. He'll sacrifice himself for someone.
He looks noble.
You also can't forget about Henry Czerny. We didn't even see him in this.
No. There's more. Maybe he's on a date with Samara Weaving. In that outfit.
Maybe no, it doesn't feel. I was like trying to figure out someone that Samara Weaving might have been out with, but
do you know what?
Based on what we've seen thus far,
I'm gonna also put another. Sorry, you gotta go. But I'm just like Samara Weaving. Please be Australian. Is what I'm going to say. That's my little patriotic note because Samara Weaving is Australian. She's
fair
the daughter. She's the niece of Hugo Weaving, I believe.
She is.
And New York, for those who don't know, is crawling with Australians. So it wouldn't be out of story sense for her to be like, "G'day, Ghostface. Yeah, what's up?"
I will happily get behind that wish for you and root for it. All right, I must go festival right now. I got to go pick up a badge and get this stuff going, but there will never be a single thing in this world to keep me from celebrating Scream with you, Joel. I can't wait to overanalyze yet another piece of marketing material as we creep closer to this movie's release, because there's still time. There's still time.
There's a lot of time. There's a lot of time to talk. So, Perri, as always, it's an honor. Enjoy Sundance.
Joel, it's an honor.